Welcome back to the program. Now, Donald Trump has long said that he'd like a missile defense system similar to Israel's Iron Dome. Tonight, he's pressing ahead with those plans. Along with his Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the US president is unveiling plans for his $25 billion Golden Dome. He's been speaking at the White House. Just have a listen.
In the campaign, I promised the American people that I would build a cutting-edge missile defense shield to protect our homeland from the threat of foreign missile attack. And that's what we're doing. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we have officially selected an architecture for this state-of-the-art system that will deploy next-generation technologies across the land, sea, and space, including space-based sensors and interceptors. And Canada has called us, and they want to be a part of it. So we'll be talking to them. They want to have protection also. So, as usual, we help Canada do the best we can. This design for the Golden Dome will integrate with our existing defense capabilities and should be fully operational before the end of my term. So we'll have it done in about 3 years. Once fully constructed, the Golden Dome will be capable of intercepting missiles even if they are launched from other sides of the world and even if they are launched from space. And we will have the best system ever built.
Well, we don't have a huge amount of detail yet about how this Golden Dome will work. Israel's Iron Dome works by detecting incoming rockets using a ground-based radar system. It then fires interceptor missiles if they are heading for highly populated areas. Currently, the US defends its airspace by using systems such as the Patriot system, which is a surface-to-air system. The Patriot systems are based at military bases around the US, including in Oklahoma and Alaska. The Golden Dome system would likely use infrared space-based sensors to detect and track missiles and intercept them using advanced weapon systems. Its big advantage would be being able to detect them much earlier during their boost phase, something which ground-based systems can't do. Well, let's bring in our US correspondent, James Matthews. And James, Donald Trump looked pretty excited, pretty proud to talk about this, said that it would, come into effect by the end of his term, and very much inspired by Israel's dome system.
That's right, Yalda. And, few would argue that that is not a success in Israel, the Iron Dome. It is, of course, golden. The Donald Trump version. Some surprises in there, I think, talking about a budget far beneath the kind of estimates we have heard so far, estimates of $500 billion and so on. His estimate was far beneath that, and he said it would be fully operational by the end of his term. There were pertinent, pointed questions, I thought, about the necessity for all of this. One journalist said that NORAD, the North American Air Defense Organization, they hadn't pushed for it. And he was asked, well, whose idea is this? Is it the generals or is it you? And Trump said that it had come from him. He went to the generals and said, would you like this? And they heartily agreed. So, the idea has been driven by Donald Trump himself. This Golden Dome, similar to the Iron Dome in Israel, but necessarily different because of the space, apart from anything else, that it will have to protect. The expanse of the United States, far bigger. In Israel, the size of New Jersey, the Iron Dome, it is ground-based. It protects urban areas, populated areas. Of course, the United States is a far bigger landmass, and it will have to protect against bigger missiles launched from further away. So it is going to be anchored in space. And essentially the way it will work is that there'll be a sort of space radar that picks up missiles from far away and is able to take out these missiles at an early stage. So that's the theory. Today, Donald Trump named a program manager. He clearly has a job on his hands. It's a huge budget and a very tight time frame to try to get this in place before Donald Trump leaves office.
James, thanks so much for bringing us up to date there.
First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakak Wadash. Yahweh see this world ignorantly calls God. Yahushai to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Vahashim means in the name, Rokah means spirit, and Kodash means holy, and that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. So as you saw in that video, Donald J. Trump unveiling Golden Dome plan. Okay, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. All this shit he's trying to do, he's building a missile defense plan, is because he knows those missiles are coming, first. And second, that missile defense plan is not going to work. Okay, thus saith the Lord, that missile defense plan is not going to work. And it is prophesied that America, Babylon, will go down by nuclear missiles. Okay, so let's get that, quick 3 scripture video. Let's get that in Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 9. It says, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. Right, so the Lord is going to have an assembly of great nations, right, come together and set themselves in array against America, right, going into in military positioning. And it says, from thence she shall be taken, right? So America is going to be taken from thence, which goes into, a far, a long distance attack. Okay, for wherever the nations are at, that's where they're gonna be shooting from. Okay, and then it compares it, to arrows, as of a mighty archer. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, and none shall return in vain. And the question is, what is it talking about? Is it talking about actual arrows? The answer is no. The arrows are symbolic for those nuclear missiles. Okay, they're going to be shot the exact same way an arrow is shot. Okay, and by a mighty expert man. Okay, none shall return in vain. So every single missile that is up there in the heavens flying, it's going to hit its destination. And the reason is because you're going to have the angels up there guiding those missiles. Okay, so while I was reading this, something came to mind. And I want to put this in ChatGPT, tell it it's a missile, and have it break it down. Here you go. It says, Babylon symbolic for America in this interpretation. Some interpreters, particularly in prophetic or apocalyptic Christian circles, view Babylon as a symbol of a powerful, morally fallen, and wealthy nation in the end times. In this framework, America is seen as modern Babylon because of its global influence, military might, and perceived spiritual and moral decline. An assembly of great nations from the North Country, coalition of enemies. This could be interpreted as a military alliance or coalition of nations coming from the north, symbolically or geographically, to attack Babylon, America. Some might associate this with Russia, China, Iran, or other geopolitical powers forming a military front. Right, that's exactly on point. When you look at the nations coming together against America, it's these top 3. It says, they shall set themselves in array against her, organized military attack. This suggests deliberate and strategic preparation for a war against this symbolic Babylon. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, symbolic for missiles. In modern prophetic interpretations, arrows are often viewed as symbolic of long-range weapons, especially missiles or nuclear weapons. Expert man suggests precision, implying guided or advanced weaponry. None shall return in vain. Guaranteed impact. And that's the point. All that Golden Dome shit is going to do nothing. None shall return in vain. Guaranteed impact. This suggests all weapons hit their targets, they are effective, destructive, and not wasted. If referring to missiles, this implies devastating accuracy and consequences. So, This verse is seen by some as a prophecy of divine judgment on a powerful nation, America, that has become like Babylon, proud, corrupt, and spiritually fallen. The arrows, missiles from a coalition of enemy nations, possibly from the north, are understood to bring about catastrophic destruction, and none will miss their target. Okay, so there you have it. Right, and then they put a note, this is a symbolic, speculative interpretation and not universally accepted. Biblical prophecy has many layers, historical, spiritual, and eschatological end times. In context, Jeremiah was originally prophesying about the fall of literal Babylon, ancient Mesopotamia, not modern nations. And the reason why this AI software just went off is because when Jeremiah was writing this and he was talking, Jeremiah was in ancient Babylon. Okay, that is true. But when he was talking about this Babylon here, okay, when you go into how ancient Babylon fell, it didn't fall how this is talking about, right? When it's talking about a great nations are going to come against Babylon and are going to make Babylon a desert, it talks about that in, when you go down, it says, therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the island shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall be dwelt in from generation to generation. Right, so it goes into how this Babylon that is talking about is going to be a complete desert that nobody is ever going to live in. And when you go into the history of ancient Babylon didn't fall by complete fire. Okay, it literally fell overnight by Darius the Mede. Okay, and ancient Babylon today is still being inhabited. It's not a complete desert that nobody lives in. Right, it's over there in Iraq, Babylon. Okay, so, Iraq, or Babylon in Iraq. I said that backwards. So, the literal landmass Babylon doesn't fit these scriptures. Also, the fact that it talks about the Redeemer is strong. Right, this is going into when the Messiah comes back. So, this is not talking about ancient Babylon as the AI software says. It's talking about America. Now, let's get another scripture. Let's get this in Joel chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. Right, and that's what we're doing right now. The brothers have been doing by making these videos and going, downtown, preaching, is we're blowing that trumpet, letting the people know what's coming. It says, a day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. And the land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. Right, and what that's going into is those nuclear missiles hitting. Right, if I were to pull up that paint, let me draw that real quick. So it's going into how a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Right, so in front of them, let's say the person is right here. In front of them, this way, the land is as the garden of Eden. Right, flowers, you got buildings. Right, you got everything normal, cars. But behind them, it's a desolate wilderness. The fire. And the reason that's going to be is because, and when that nuclear, bomb drops, and it drops and it makes that, mushroom cloud, all that is going to send that shockwave roaring and destroying everything that it comes across. Everything. So when you're looking at it, on this side it's a desolate wilderness, but on this side it says the Garden of Eden, where everything is still normal. So that's a little visual there. And it says the appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Right, and it's symbolically calling the missiles horses. It says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pained, all faces shall gather blackness. Right, so when the people see these missiles start dropping, their faces are going to be pained. their faces are going to gather blackness because they're going to realize there's nowhere else to go. Right? This is a done deal. It's over. It says, they shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk everyone in his path, and when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Right? Now, why does it say that when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded? The reason is because if you have a sword right here, and you have a missile dropping, the missile doesn't feel any pain. Okay? That's why it says that. The missile does not feel pain. It's an inanimate object. So, it says, they shall run to and fro in the city, they shall run upon the wall, they shall climb upon the houses, they shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them, the heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Right, and that's going into, and when those nukes, drop, it's going to literally make the earth shake, make the earth quake. It's going to make the heavens tremble. It's going to make the sun and the moon dark because of nuclear winter, okay, or the ash. When those nukes hit and the ash covers the skies, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. You're not going to be able to see the heavens because of the ash. And it says, and the Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word, for the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Right, so, and those nukes are coming, and guess what? Like I said, this guy is not going to do anything. It's already written. Let's get one more. It says in Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Right? And what is that plague that can make your flesh literally disintegrate while you're standing? Your eyes disintegrate in your holes, your tongue disintegrate in your mouth? Nuclear missiles. That's what it's talking about. And I want to go ahead and ask ChatGPT what it's talking about. Let's see. There you go. Modern prophetic view, nuclear warfare. Some interpreters post-World War II and during the Cold War see this as the description of nuclear or chemical warfare. Instant destruction of flesh while standing, eyes and tongues dissolving can mask the effects of intense heat or radiation. This has led to speculation that the final war can involve thermonuclear missiles. This is not stated directly in the Bible, but it has contemporary interpretation based on the visual imagery of the text. And guess what? That's exactly what it's talking about. Is that nuclear destruction. I'm gonna ask you one more thing. Find me scriptures that talk about how there will be nuclear war missiles in end days. Let's see what scriptures it could give me. Zechariah 14:12, Jeremiah 50 and 9. Isaiah 13 and 5. Revelation 8, fire. Joel 2, fire. Literally everything we were reading. Okay, Isaiah 13 and 5. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Right, what is that talking about? Those missiles. Okay, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. Weapons from afar, widespread devastation, and the earth shaking. Some liken this to nuclear strikes. Exactly. Revelation 8 and 7. And the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up, and the name of the star is called wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. Fire falling from the sky, massive burning, and poisoned water. Some interpret this as nuclear fallout or contamination. Right, the radiation that will come from those nukes will make the water radiated and poisonous. And that's why men were dying of the waters because they were made bitter. Okay, another one on point. Joel 2. We just read that. So, hey, there you have it, man. There you have it. The A is coming in. There's nothing you can do to stop it. Hopefully this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors to the outer bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to you, like Shalom.